Your name on a shaky hand. Lifelines, late nights.
What up, Chad? How we doing? What up, Polar Bear? Bumblebee, Slightly Toasted, Johnson, Blasky. What up, Jake? How y'all doing? What up, Cole, Threadfish? What up, Chima, Logan, Nimish? Took a short and open. Hell yeah. Beautiful move so far. I mean, so far it looks like we should get some continuation. We'll look at the chart in a sec. What are you drinking, bro? I'm always drinking coffee. It, just gets you vibing on stream. But I always have like late night coffee. At least on stream usually. It was bad today because I was tired. I didn't sleep much. Your boy went to bed a little late, so I needed it. But I was thinking about getting like an energy drink. I'm like, that might be a little too much if I'm trying to sleep at some point tonight. What up, Cam? All right, now we got some charts. What up, Miguel, Mars, Trade Wab, Diego? How y'all doing? How much caffeine per day? Today's probably a little higher on the scale. Today we're probably up around like 500-600. It's a heavy day today. Most days usually at like 3 to 4. What up, Poison? What up, Eldred? Smash the like button. Hell yeah, brother. Let me throw that on stream. So today we do have Alpha Futures 50K accounts. We'll be giving one of those away on stream. Got the short on my funded, now waiting for another setup for the Express. Hell yeah, Eldred. 600 milligrams in a day is not diabolical. To be fair, though, I may have gone to bed at like 4:10 in the morning, somewhere around there. So it kind of needed to get through the day, kind of needed. What up, Dev? Evening, Ant. Jonathan, to be fair, that's a fraction of what I used to consume when I was working in the trades. A fraction. Let's see what some charts are doing. Gold with some intra-session strength already. Problem is the hourly and the 4 hour just don't look that appealing. I can see the hourly getting justification higher, but more so probably rejecting the open and pushing back lower. I feel like that would make the most sense on gold. Oil's also pulling back. We're mainly just stuck in a wider range here. I'd be shocked if ES didn't at least sweep the New York session lows because we're right next to it. And a pretty heavy hourly consolidation. I mean, that last hourly candle is disgustingly weak. YM's a little bit stronger, but ES and NQ are pretty damn weak. So how we react to this candle's low would be my entire thesis on the day. If we end up holding this little support area, I can see us building back into this range. I can see like a potential of like a higher risk type of setup, but I would need a little more conviction on the time frames versus just blindly buying it. Trade Passion. I need the name of the song. I know what song you're talking about, but I can't think of the name of it. You made, Logan, is there an extra zero in there by chance? Or did you make $94,000? I feel like there might be an extra zero in there. Oh, I was like, holy fuck. Vish. I mean, there's times I still make mistakes when sleeping, like sleep deprived. But for me, it's more so I know I didn't sleep a shitload. So I'm not going to be ripping like 2 full minis on a funded account hoping for the best. So it's just expectations on it. Now, there will be days, some of my better trading days have actually come sleep deprived. One of my biggest days in the last probably like 6 months was after being up for like 24 hours straight. But that was sometime last year. That was a long time ago. How'd y'all do today though, chat? I almost never use 2 minis on a funded though. It's a good thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't love the sizing. I love the returns of 2 minis wholeheartedly. But like right now, a lot of my ES trades have been 7 to 10 point stops looking for 20, 25 points. I'm not okay losing $1,000 on a trade. If it's on an eval, is what it is. But on like a funded account, I'm not cool with losing $1,000 on a trade. So for me personally, that doesn't make sense for me to size that aggressively, you know? Halfway through 2 evals? Hell yeah, Johnson. If we're going to sit around this range, the main way I'd be interested in us holding it is if we built a wider consolidation here and built a strong support and then tried to set a 5-minute higher low, or if we just blatantly swept the New York lows and got buying pressure back up. Because my issue at the moment is this hourly candle. NQ did sweep, so that's something to keep an eye on. So NQ swept the lows. So if we start to hold, that could build a thesis. Other than that, thesis is going to be more so bearish right out the gate. Just based off of how the hourly closed. Hourly closed weak, 15-minute, could 3-bar play here. That NQ sweep is the only thing that has my attention. Where I'm looking at like, all right, what is this going to do off of this? Vish, if anyone's using minis on a 25K, they're trying to either pass or just double that account instantly. Slime, what you mean? First payout, where does the rest of the profits go? What you talking about? Cocaine is a hell of a drug. Short. What up, Alan? Yeah, I definitely lean short at the moment. Thing is, like, if I'm looking to short, the next target's down at 513s. I'm just trying to pay attention to everything across the board and like how we react. Like if oil holds the open, then we could start to see an overall short starting to play out. The dollar was stronger today, but then failed towards the end of the day, which is interesting. I was honestly expecting the end of day little sell-off. I don't know how many people were looking at that. But when we saw this rally, I was like, all right, well, we're getting buying pressure at this support, which is why I'm currently watching it, right? If we hold this support again for the fourth time, whatever you want to count it, then there's a chance we just build right back up. But if we do lose it, we could lose it pretty quick all the way down to 75, like 13s. Take a trade right now. No. I don't fucking wanna. What up, Trader Jomo? Yeah, I've never seen a firm where I get a payout and then they reset the balance. So I don't know what firm you're using, but I haven't seen that happen before. What up, Finesse? Full port 8 minis. Logan, I don't even have an account big enough that I can full port 8 minis. So I would have to go get what, like 150K to do that. And you don't want to see me trading a 150K account because I have no reason to be trading 3-4 minis on a trade. No. Lucid doesn't reset your account to 0. So that's odd. So I've got multiple Lucid payouts. You leave your buffer in the account. So there's always a little bit. They scammed you. No, Lucid did not scam anybody. No, there's one prop firm we're not throwing allegations at. What up, Gael? How you doing? Took a 25K to 4 payouts and Lucid Flex using minis. American, how do you normally trade? Are you more like a shorter term trade? Like not maybe even scalper, but close to it essentially? Because my thing is I usually hold for larger moves. So if I'm holding for a 30 to 40 point ES move, one mini just would absolutely cook it. Rodriguez, Lucid is by far the fastest payout that I've ever received. My first payout was on stream in the Discord in sub 60 seconds. It was in my bank account. And then my other ones were like 6 to 10 minutes. Okay, yeah, American, that's different. That I can see using minis. Because you're trading a 15-second to 2-minute long trade. That is valid. I usually, if I get to a really nice trade, I'm holding for hours. So that's where I can't use minis. So I guess I was wrong in that sense. You can use, minis can work depending on your trading style. Alan, you finally got Lucid? Well, wait till you find out you can get 2 accounts for 50% off. Then it's an even bigger deal. Told someone I was trying to figure out how to trade using ES on a 50K Lucid. And he told me that's like driving a Ferrari to the grocery store, and I've been on micro cents. Honestly valid. Wholeheartedly valid. Johnson, if in the Lucid's had a 50% promo for the last month and a half, and it ends, I think, July 1st. And it's the first 2 accounts you get with Lucid. So if you haven't used it yet, yes, Lucid has a 50% promo going up at the moment. Right back then. Hell yeah, Alan. I mean, it's a steal because the flex accounts are insane. Just the rules around them and what, like how you can actually get $2,000 payouts for $70 accounts. It's diabolical. You got 13 payouts on 25Ks. Hell yeah, brother. Crushing it. Yeah, 50K growth are good. I like them. It's just the consistency rule can get in the way at times, which can make them a little trickier if you make too much, which I've done a few times. And then it sucks. Flex. Yeah, I think the flex are the best accounts out there for Lucid. Hell yeah, Nimish. Absolutely love to hear that, my man. Absolutely love to hear it. All right, we're coming into that New York low. Kind of want to see how we react to it. Because this is my main thing. I really don't want to short the low end of the range. What I'd rather see is a retest. If we break below, retest this, and then look for that continuation. Or we watch, see how it reacts to this, and then trade off of that. Gold's holding up pretty well so far, but that thing is not moving. I don't know if it just has low volume right now, but that chart is not moving. You can still use ES minis on 50K if you're planning on a 5-point stop, but it's better to go to MES and trim along the way. Yeah, Vish, that just kind of depends on the trading strategy as well. Some people don't want to trim, so it just obviously all depends on it. But no, I like 10 MES. I have no problem with that. Yeah, Diego, it's also because ES is a lot more liquid than NQ. And you're also not going to have as much, not even slippage, but the divergence between NQ and MNQ is sometimes pretty decent, especially on when it makes larger wicks on the moves. Rapid. My fund of futures isn't bad. I just have not really traded with them personally. I used them once before, like 2 years ago, and I haven't used them since. So I think I traded like 2 evals on my fund of futures, and that was it. So for me, I just don't have the experience with my fund of futures to say this account's good, these rules are great. I don't know. Same thing with TPT for me, except I've never used TPT. What up, Adam? How you doing, brother? What was your breakthrough in trading? Months and months and months of just figuring out my psychology and just spending an extraordinary amount of time dealing with little like mental hurdles that I struggled with in trading. Like if I was staring at a chart in the past and I was looking for shorts and I missed this move, I would be immediately trying to stab short on like every single candle along the way. And I would get stopped out. So like chasing trades, stuff like that. And it's just figuring out kind of what causes you to do that and finding ways to mitigate it. Because you'll never correct stuff immediately, right away. You won't be like, oh, this is what I'm doing wrong. This is what I need to change. And then all of a sudden you're the best trader in the world. Now, for me, it's more so figuring out what you struggle with and working towards mitigating those aspects over time. Because you're not just going to cold turkey him. They happened to me with that drop. Erdo, the greatest thing is a drop like that, you'll see 15 of those throughout a single day. So something like that isn't even worth stressing over in the slightest. Even on NQ, yeah, it'd be a nice return, right? 115 points. But also with the market we've been in, 115 points isn't insane. You can catch that probably 10, 15 times throughout the 23-hour session. Yeah, crypto, that's what I mean. Like the 100 points here, especially if you zoom out. Like this is why I say chasing a trade like this, I just think isn't worth it, because that's 115 points. Yes, nice move if you caught it. However, if you look at something from New York today, we sold off 450. So it just shows there's a lot of potential out there. You just got to be patient and find the next one. Gold relative strength is really interesting. Like it's holding very well. Throughout the day today, it's pretty much decoupling from the NASDAQ for the most part. Obviously, it doesn't follow it perfectly, but it has a broader trend that it follows with it. Usually when the NASDAQ sells off, gold is either ahead of it or not far behind. But right now, it's got some decent strength. What up, Samir? $15 years ago, you'd be lucky to catch that. Yeah, because the NASDAQ was like $8,000. So yeah, 15 years ago, it's a hell of a move. But also, you go 15 years in the future, 100 points is probably going to be, what, a 2-minute candle? Thank you breaks 500s. We're going to puke. We could. That's why I'm watching ES around this area. If it ends up getting that continuation, could be pretty nasty down to like 513s. YM is holding up a little bit. Nothing extreme. All right, my plan here is to give it a few 5-minute candles and see what it wants to do. See if we're going to consolidate below 530s, or if we get back above 530s, then we're right back in the range. We swept the lows and got buying pressure back above. And at that point, I really don't want to short, if we're being honest. Logan, at the moment, yes. Because I just have so much shit up for stream. Normally, though, I have this chart. Like, let's say I'm trading ES. I have this chart on my left monitor. So I'll have the 5, 15, hourly, and 4-hour. And then on my right monitor over here, I'll have this 4 grid of the indices up. Normally, this isn't like the main chart that I'm staring at. But I watched this on stream so I can see the divergences because I can't really have it up like over here. So no, I have 2 monitors with it. I want a third. I have 3, but I want a third for charts. Looks like it's ranging around Sunday's open. I saw that we closed basically right around Sunday's open, which is... Sunday's open is at 543 on ES. Unless you're talking about a different name. Logan, that's why I like monitors. Because I have my broker on a, like I have a vertical over here. And when I turn P&L on, you guys see the top of that vertical where the P&L is. No, like right now I have chat on this screen, charts straight in front of me. Obviously my stream stuff over here and then my broker up top. So I use 4 different windows since I have my vertical and I split it in half. Oil's not moving. She's a little stuck. Hell yeah, SoCal Brady. I took a small stab on gold today. Didn't work out. I think I lost like 15%. But I just closed up for the end of the day right before that rally happened. So I was like, damn, oh well. But no, I'm going to keep watching it and see like a broader trade that I want to catch. You're short oil into 73.20s. If it loses the open, it looks good for it. Especially because on the daily, I would have expected it to break lower. I want to see how this 5-minute closes, and I might take a stab on ES. I'm going to throw a limit order at 30.5. So what I do when I do this is like I have a limit order sitting right here. So if we spike above that 5-minute and look for continuation, it'll fill me. If we end up seeing a push lower, then I won't get filled in that, and this will obviously be a weaker chart. But I'm going to leave it open at least for this 5-minute candle. So if we get continuation above this, I will be filled, and then I'll throw a stop at like 23, 24. No, Samir, I mean, I trade NQ sometimes when I see a very favorable setup to me. I don't like it a lot because I want to trade micros on it, and the slippage on the micros compared to the NQ chart is just diabolical. Yeah, we've seen it on stream have a 40-point difference on little spikes, and that's just not something I want to be trading. I'd much rather just trade MES and worst case size into the position. Hamad, I would love one more spike lower on oil. The daily just makes a lot of sense. Let me throw this on here because I do have... I do have a limit order sitting there. By the way, chat, if you don't know, on Tradeovate... Okay, so that just filled me. Let me turn P&L on. There. If you don't know, on Tradeovate, you can set a stop above your order as a limit, and then if it hits, it'll fill that limit, which is what I just did. So if we got any continuation, it filled my limit order right there. I'm going to stop at 23. To be honest, I want the highs of the range if we're going to continue. That's where I'd be willing to at least let it hit a stop for the most part. Let's see. So I did get filled in a long. What up, Armani? Dave, you trying to fade me? I mean, I'm playing the range for the most part, but it's more so the fact that we already swept the lows and are pushing back above. We're coming into the 5-minute close, and here's why I took it. If we broke above this 5-minute candle and got continued buying pressure, we should likely at least head up towards this little 5-minute pivot, right? If we head up to that 5-minute pivot, if you look at the time, we have 2 minutes left in the 15. We already know just by looking at this chart alone, the 15 spiked lower, got bought back up higher, if it closes up here, it should have a lower wick with a green body. So if we do that and we get that close, we have a hammer at the lows after sweeping the low and not getting continuation when we should have. So I'm playing that thesis out overall. Which is, if you remember, I said I wanted to wait, give it a few 5-minute candles, see what structure actually does, and see if we get an opportunity. Either direction. Now, if this 5 minutes slams back down in the next minute, I'll be stopped. Armani, do not close just because I'm in a trade. If you like the analysis, then do your due diligence on it. Just never close something just because I'm in. I could easily be wrong. How do you size in? What is the best way to do it? Samir, my favorite way to size in, let's say I want to use 15 micros on this trade. That's like the max size I'm willing to take. What I would do, so far we got in. If we break above this little resistance here around 33, 34s, maybe retest it from above to where we get another setup on the chart where I look at it and be like, this is a really nice setup. We could get continuation. And it makes sense for me to possibly move my stop closer. That's what I'm willing to add. So if we get something that looks like this, where we go up, maybe retest this, and then start to set another higher low, something like that, to where we can add here, maybe throw the stop up like here or break even. Because my goal, if I add into a winning position, I want my stop loss to still be roughly the same amount as it was when I got in the trade. I do not want to increase my stop. Hello from Finland. Hello, how you doing? Hope odds favor you. We'll see. I think there's a good chance. We got a strong 15-minute close. If this 15-minute slams up higher, fails to go higher, then we're just in some shit down here, and we could easily continue lower. But for now, what I was playing off of is, first, the relative strength in YM. I don't really want to trade YM, especially because ES is at my support. I'm willing to take a stab off of that if conviction's there. Looking at the correlation across the indices, the YM is very strong right now. It's not above the open, so it's not like, holy crap, this thing's ripping. But if you look at the current price action compared to NQ compared to ES, it is strong. Same with RTY. If those two names hold, we can still get a continuation in the market. Oil at the same time was getting a little bit weaker around the open. We'll see if it holds or not. If it does hold the open, we may get stopped. Oil may get a little bit of a rally. ES may pull back. But when I see multiple scenarios playing out, especially when you look at the 5-15, another variable on top of it is the hourly, right? This is the multi-time frame analysis. When that 15 failed to go lower, so did the hourly. Why? Because we're only 30 minutes into the hourly. So we're already starting to fail to go lower. So if we get any of that continuation, let's say the hourly closes at 35, right? We get 4 points in the next 30 minutes. I'm cool with that because that'd be a strong hourly close after sweeping the New York session lows, which would just build conviction to go higher. So it's definitely a stab I'm willing to take. It's also a very manageable risk. Why ES in particular from the trade? It's at a key support area that I want to pay attention to. ES is also the main asset that I trade personally. So if everything's lining up across the indices, I'm likely going to take ES unless I look at another name like YM and it's like a hell yeah, this is possibly going to go 800 to 1,000 points. Then I'll lean towards the YM. But overall, even just looking at the daily charts, the YM is a little stronger. This can easily continue. If it does break yesterday's highs, yeah, it can rip about 400 above that in the new all-time highs. At the same time, though, that would put ES likely up around 7,600, and I'm cool with that. Now, I'm not saying 7,600 is my target here. But for me, if I see the setup on ES I'm likely going to take it. Plus, we're right at the bigger support area that I was watching from before stream. Yeah, MD. So I did it on Wednesday stream. I added into a trade, and I don't do it in insane amount. When I really like the setup in the market and I think there's a stronger chance of continuation, then yes, I have no problem adding into it. I do not like to add into losers, especially on futures. When I'm looking at this chart, let's just say it starts to go down here. A lot of people will add hoping that it fails to go lower again. All you're doing at that point is buying into a position that's clearly going against you and increasing your risk. I put on the risk that I was comfortable with for this position, so why would I increase it? But when I add into a trade, I want to add into a trade to the point where my risk is still going to be roughly the same point amount, same like dollar amount-ish or less. How do you measure positions for adding with winners? That's something I'm still working on fine-tuning. For now, though, I usually just either trim my added position off where I want to take a trim, or I'll trim a little bit more than that. And then I'll just try to let the rest of it go. Found that if you trade before New York Open, then trade after Open, that counts as 2 trading days on Lucid. Johnson, I don't think so. Because that's the same trading day. The trading day goes from 6 p.m. Eastern till 5 p.m. Eastern the next day. Any trade within that period is 1 trading day. I cooked this morning. Sorry to hear it, brother. I saw there's some decent volatility this morning. I mean, we looked strong in the beginning. Then we rejected pretty aggressively and obviously saw this big push right back into yesterday's open, which was interesting. Well, last night's open is what I mean. So a good example of adding into positions. Even though we're kind of setting up the higher low here, this isn't necessarily somewhere that I personally would want to add. If I wasn't in a trade, would I be open to taking something? Yeah. But it's not somewhere I'd want to add because we still haven't confirmed that we're going to hold this general area. So I don't really have an option to raise my stop loss much. Could I put it right here? Yes. But I really don't want to squeeze the trade. And I want to give it room to breathe a little bit. Once it starts to work and starts to trend, that's when I'm willing to add. So I need more confirmation that the trade's clearly working in my favor to be able to increase size. Jimbo, if I'm trading options, I'm mainly trading SPY. If I talked about SPX, it was likely XSP, which is like the SPY of SPX. It's like the micro of SPX. So I trade SPY or XSP or XPS, whichever one it is. I always mix it up. Appreciate you, Adam. But no, for me, that's just when I'm looking at the potential of a broader move throughout the intraday session, then I have no problem taking options. Because that's where you're going to get a good compound on it. Something I like to do as well is I will take options and futures within the same trade. That's another way I add into positions, right? Diversifying risk. I'll take a futures trade and then I'll throw options in there as well. And I'll execute on the futures and just see if I can let the options continue to run. You think RTY keeps going lower since top rejected? What's the 4 hour look like? No. It depends. If the trade thesis that I took works out, we'd be holding this broader support across the indices. And RTY would actually be setting that 4 hour higher low at that. If that sets and RTY gets back above like 3,021, then I would start to anticipate it to hold. If we end up maintaining below that, then I'd start to look towards like 3,000 retest, 3,005, somewhere in there. What broker do you do options with? Robinhood and Charles Schwab are the two that I use for options. Yeah, Rob. And I mean, it's taken me years to figure out exactly how I want to trade like that. And it's just, that's just what I found works best for me at the time. Because even if you can do that, the best thing you're doing is if you're adding into positions, which I'm still working on fine tuning, right? Because I don't do it a whole lot yet. But if you get to that point, all of your losses are going to be roughly a set amount. And then all of your winners are compounded. So they should, if you execute well and get the continuation, be exponentially larger than your losses. And that's kind of the main goal that I want to go for in trading. But yeah, chat, we get 150 likes on stream. So a little thumbs up below the stream. We'll be giving away a 50K Alpha Futures account. I use Siege. I use TradingView for all my charting. Any charting I do, I use TradingView. I always use the excuse, like I don't want, at least for Thinkorswim, I use the excuse, like I don't want my charts where my trades are. For the most part, Thinkorswim's like Windows 98 compared to TradingView. And this is what I started on. So it's hard to go from something that is such user-friendly as TradingView to try charting on Thinkorswim. It's just a night and day difference, and I couldn't do it. Have you tried Bookmap? I have. I've used it in the past. I don't mind it. Like I can build conviction off of it, but it's not like my favorite asset to use. I feel like if I go back towards that more so order flow conviction, I would lean more towards Gamma versus Bookmap personally. What do you think of gold? Gold's fucking strong, brother. It's clear as day strong. Now, what we need to pay attention to, same thing that we just kind of watched on ES. Look at the hourly chart. Yes, we are in a really tight consolidation here. We are intraday strong. Gold is likely going to depend. If the indices hold, I would anticipate gold to possibly rip. I would. Because it has that intra-session relative strength. If we can get this hourly close above 42.13s, that's very strong. And at that point, you're looking at 42.34s, possibly even yesterday's high at 42.38s. So I think there's a lot of upside in gold. Y'all know, just from me yapping on stream, I am stalking gold religiously for an options trade. I took one today. I'm kind of irritated I sold it just because I should have just taken the risk overnight, but I really didn't want to based off how the indices looked. And may bite me in the ass, but worst case, I can just reassess tomorrow, find a trade. Yeah, Alan, I mean, data makes sense, but at the same time, if we went off data throughout most of this, we should have had decent down weeks. Because the inflation was rising, the war was continuously popping off, ceasefires weren't happening, and we just continued buying. Data is important, but I feel like it's more important on a macro scale, where you got to remember we're day trading, so it's the micro aspect of it. And that's why I just focus on, is there more buyers or sellers? Jimbo, my preference, if I have very strong conviction that, let's say, ES is possibly going to make a 40 to 60 point move throughout the day, I'll take 0 DTEs because the risk reward's there. If it's not like A++, this is the exact entry, and let's say it's something like this, where if we hold, there's a chance we get that pivot back higher, At that point, I'm going to take a couple days on the expiration because then I don't have to worry about it happening right then and there. Why is futures better than Forex? The reason I've stayed away from the entire Forex industry is basically everything anyone I see on social media promotes is unregulated, and I want nothing to do with it. I guarantee, I know I've turned down a bunch of Forex affiliates, and I guarantee you Jake's turned down 10 times as many as me. It's just a space I'm not overly interested in. I would rather trade futures than trade Forex. I also don't like the fact that every influencer in the Forex space basically opens their own broker and then just makes a shit ton of money that way. Most are influencers, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of Forex stuff that you can look at and be like, okay, that doesn't make sense. But it's because a lot of people own the brokers. And I'm not calling anyone out. I'm just speaking what I see. Rick Chair's never taught me either how to hold a trade or wait for a solid entry. Hell yeah, Johnson. Have you ever tried Bookmap? Already read that. In 3 payouts, I made enough to make back all that I've invested since January on prop accounts. Feels absolutely amazing. Joe, I want you to just take a second and like sit back and reflect on what you've done. You've been trading for 6.5 months. You've gotten 3 payouts and you're break even. That is insane. Insane. Like that, not many people move that quickly. And I know you've been very, very strict about your entries and your risk to reward, stuff like that, and your risk. But brother, props to you, because that's crazy. And it's kind of cool because a lot of the streams watched you work towards that over the past 2 months. What is the typical risk reward you go for? Are you willing to move stops break even? For example, I've been minimum 1 to 2R or 2 to 1R and stops at even around 1.5. Manbeard, normally I'm looking dream world. First area of interest is going to be like 2 to 3R for me. I have no problem some trades taking like a 1.5. Like if we get up towards the open here, if this goes higher and it's at like a 1.4 and we look like we're struggling a little bit, I have no qualms with getting out of that. I would have no issues with that. And it just depends on the conviction on the trade. But typically I'm looking for like 2 to 3, just somewhere in that ballpark. And then normally that's where I can try to let runners go to like 4+. And then he said something else. And then do I move stops to break even? I don't have a set risk to reward where I move stops break even. I do it off of structure. For me, if we got up to, let's say, the open, there is no way in hell, if this trade is going to continue, that we should go back down to here. We shouldn't, if that's going to work. So when structure changes, that's when I start to move the stop. If we got above 34 on this chart, I would likely rise the stop at least to the lows at 26 versus where I currently have them at 23. Yeah, Alan, I mean, we've been in a super bull market. Now I would say it's more so a neutral market, which we've talked about in the past, right? We mentioned on stream, at least during this session, that we anticipated some more unfavorable trending action after this extreme kind of rally, where we wanted that 2022 type of price action, where we get that overall broader volatility. It's kind of what we're getting so far. And it's just, yeah, I mean, I have no problem with it, but we can definitely see pullbacks. Like if you just look at this daily chart, it makes sense if we want to go test yesterday's lows at around 75.13, spike those lows, see if the buying pressure is there to hold and continue. That's why a lot of the market I just take day by day. I've flipped biases within like 15-minute periods a lot throughout this overall market. Yeah, Zyro, that wouldn't shock me at all. When I got into trading and I noticed all the influencers owned a broker, that's when I was like, yeah, this isn't really something I want to get into. Because it just didn't, I don't know, it just didn't feel right to me. I would rather have a company that, like Charles Schwab, that owns my fucking broker. Why does everyone say futures platform is better? Static. I logically can't answer that because I don't know the Forex platform. I've never even looked at a Forex account, so I don't know the difference personally. It's just, usually if there's something I'm not interested in, I just don't even put the time to understand it with stuff like that. Karma, the best you could do at that point is just reflect on it. Don't let it, don't dwell on it for the rest of the day. Obviously, there's nothing you can do now to change it. Just figure out how you can mitigate that happening again in the future. Is probably the best thing you can do. Gold rejecting the open. Don't love that. Oil hasn't gotten much buying pressure yet. But I don't love bigger rejections here. Because the 15 is doing exactly what we talked about now, where it started to spike a little bit higher, and now it's pushing back lower. So if this wants to reject that off that 30 area, it could end up being more so a lower high, which gets a little bit of continuation down. Zyro, that's interesting. I never knew that it's harder for retail traders to be profitable in Forex, which is odd. Static, all you'd have to do is just look at the Forex aspect and then look at the futures aspect. Just see which one fits you better. Zyro, I'm in the trade on the stream. Just, I'm not Rake, I'm Ron G. Jake streams in the morning session. We have 5 hosts that stream on this channel. Erdo, you cooked your account on this session? Have you used Black Arrow platform? I've never heard of it. Alan, what you mean funded futures? Cole, a lot of times I look at the body of the candle because I'll focus on the wick if it's a candle shape like this right here. But if we get a more aggressive wick like this, then I don't pay attention to that. So it depends on what the actual candle and body and wick look like as a whole. This is Ron J. Galici. Zyro, no need to apologize, my man. No need. There's a lot of new people that show up here, and we appreciate it. But yeah, for those that don't know, this is Project 365. There's 5 hosts that stream on this channel. I'm Ron G. I do the Asian session from 7 to 9 p.m., sometimes a little later. Then we have Alan, the man, the myth, the legend, 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern. Jake, Rake Trades, 8:30 in the morning typically till about 11:30, 12:30, depending on the session and what the trades are doing. Mitch, 12:30 to 1:30, so around that lunch hour. And then you have Lamelli running the power hour from 1:30 to about 3:30 or 4. But yeah, like Johnson said, welcome to the stream, brother. Did I miss another giveaway? Moke? No, we're just doing one today, brother. Hell yeah, Zyro. If it works for you, love it. I have no qualms if someone's using a trading strategy that they either works for them or they want to get to understand better to work for them, right? Lamelli, Allen, and you, those I'm starting to follow daily. MD, appreciate you, brother. It means a lot. How would you say your trading strategy differs from Jake? Well, when Jake walks around and trades, he has to carry a wheelbarrow in front of him for the balls he has with trading. That man will hold full position size, 0 trims, not a care in the world. That ain't me. I would much rather trim my positions just because I want to lock in some profits. I have no problem moving stops to break even with a hard stop. I know Jake doesn't always, he manages the stop based off price action, but he doesn't trail the stop. He mentally trails it. So I guess there's a slight difference, but I would just say the main aspects are the holding potential for Jake, because he'll hold full size, right? We've seen him make $50,000 on literally this stream when he took the trade into his stream holding futures overnight. And for me, I would rather lock in some profits. And then he loves trading the New York Open with the volatility. He thrives in the volatility, thrives in it. I don't love it as much. I actually love not slower markets, but like more fluid markets where you have clean structure without this happening. I fucking hate this. So that's why I don't trade the New York Open a lot. Yeah, I have no problem sitting in a trade for hours on end, just waiting for it to slowly work its way up throughout the overnight session. And it's just something that I prefer. If VS is going up, does that mean NQ should follow? Dean, most of the time, yes. There will be times, it's rare, but there will be times when you see a divergence between ES and NQ. When you see that, what that will essentially tell you, just knowing how the stocks are. And this was obviously before the AI craze, where AI is now like 30 to 40% of the fucking S&P. But what it would mean in the past is big tech was pulling back, but the rest of the market was rallying. Is when you'll see ES stronger versus NQ. Normally, though, you'll see NQ lead the way simply because big tech quite literally runs the stock market lately. Are you trade? Yes, precise. So if you look at two things, first, I always have, I can't point at it that way. When this is on my screen, I'm in a trade, and then right below me, you can see the position and open P&L. So that is the exact position that I'm in. And then if I'm short, you'll see a negative right here on the lot size. Yeah, by the way, anyone who is new to stream, welcome to the stream that probably does the most giveaways in the entire prop firm space. Or the entire streaming space, which is crazy because we don't have like a sponsorship from a prop firm. Jake, Rake Trades, the one who streams 8:30 in the morning. This is all self-funded by him. We've given away, what, chat? 3 weeks ago, it was like $25,000 worth of accounts since we started. Now, I would assume probably upwards of 30, 35 with how many accounts he gives. For some reason, I can't get the quality to 720. The quality should be above 720. It should be 1080p at least. But with the giveaways, minimum 5 per day, typically, on average. 1 per stream. Jake on his stream will give away any between 0 to like 5, sometimes even more. Alan, depending on likes on his stream, the pre-London session, usually like 1 to 2. So it differs. Sometimes we give away 5, sometimes we give away fucking 10. I think Alan gave away like 3 or 4 yesterday. But everything is self-funded by Jake. So if you want to support the stream, first off, like the stream, hit the little subscribe button. We appreciate it. Second, any prop firm that you may be interested, likely have an affiliate there, a little code. So code RAKE or code RT at most prop firms, especially the larger prop firms, should get you the biggest discount. And we appreciate all the support. Zyro, I think we do have funded next. I believe we have funded next. Yeah, if you click on the link right below your name, we actually have funded next. And there's more that aren't on that list as well, because I don't think it's fully updated. All right, let me catch up on chat.
First light on the balcony, steam rising from my cup.
One thing I believe is that the fact that there are infinite paths to profitability. As a retail trader, you can literally invent your own strategy and get away with it. Yeah, agreed. Because the core aspect of a lot of strategies is just price action. No matter what, I guarantee you there's a lot of different, obviously there's a lot of different strategies in this chat right now. We've talked about it before. I tried to run a poll before, but y'all named 432 different concepts, so I couldn't do it. But I'm willing to bet if you look at this structure right here across the multi-time frames, you could look at most of those strategies and there could be some type of conviction to either get in a trade here, or if we get a consolidation up here, to get in there. And it's just trading price action, just with a bunch of different variables. I can never hold trades like you guys as a 1 minute time frame scalper. I go too many gray hairs. Zyro, the funny thing is I trade slow and I had gray hairs at like 25, my guy. 25. Your palms are sweaty after 30 seconds in a trade. See, you guys are built different. You guys are just built different. I would be, dude, my heart rate would probably be 100. I'd be zone 3 cardio trying to scalp if I did that every single day. Zyro, it depends where you are with the regionally locked futures. A lot of places you can use futures, but you just can't go live with them, which is what our London host deals with because he's from Canada. In a certain part of Canada, you can't go get live accounts with them, but you can still trade the sim funded aspect. He just re-upped on like 20 giveaway accounts on Sunday, I think. Toasted. I don't think Jake's said his re-up yet, so I'm not going to say anything, but no. Way more than 20. Way more than 20. Because you also have to think about it. If we give away the bare minimum accounts, 20 accounts doesn't even get us through a week. It gets us through 4 days. So we wouldn't even have the accounts to get through Friday with 20. You don't like duck soup? I love duck soup. It's the best trading strategy out there. Speaking of which, we haven't seen AXP yet. Scalping gives you gray hairs. You and me both. I don't know. I don't hate scalping, but at the same time, my thesis is, let's say I was scalping shorts here. We'll just use this. Let's say I was scalping longs and I got in, caught the move to here. If we ripped all the way up to here, I'd be more irritated. I just didn't let the trade continue to run. $4 from passing your account. Erdo. That might be the closest I've seen. I think one time I was $8 away and you just beat me. Wi-Fi in Antarctica must be shoddy tonight. Zyro. So duck soup's an inside joke on the Asia session stream because there's an actual concept in ICT called turtle soup. And we joke about it all the time. I don't trade ICT, but we joke about that exact concept because the name of it. And that's the strategy that one of the guys on stream made up. Yeah, static. I feel like scalping, you have to have a different type of risk management. Like for me, I just have to make sure I'm sized correctly and I can lose 2 trades on a session and I'll be fine. Where scalping, you're kind of just going back and forth for a majority of the day, slowly building those profits. So I feel like it's very easy to overtrade or revenge trade. Because I can tell you, when I start scalping, I'm likely revenge trading. Doesn't happen often because I fucking hate scalping. But if I'm scalping, that's likely what's happening. Or I'm just trying to pass something. We'll see if Asia gets the push. Sometimes Asia does this and we'll retest support, get some strong continuation. But if we spike above this and fail back lower, it's not going to be the most ideal. By the way, we did get the hourly close we talked about. Not as clean as we wanted, right? I wanted a little more of a body on that candle. I would have loved 34. We ended up staying within like a 3-point range for the half hour. Now we kind of need to get and hold above 33. Need it. Because if we push back lower, hourly fail to go higher, could end up being more so a lower high. So that's kind of what we're paying attention to at the moment. What's gold doing? Gold got a little smoked. Gold volatility's kicking off. This is why I don't trade gold during the opens at all. I mean, that candle's not crazy. It's only 5 points, so it's not that insane. But that's still a hell of a wick. For the price action it's had, that's a hell of a wick. We need oil to get a little bit of bearish pressure here. Do you even trade coffee anymore? No, I don't. Dude, I would love to just trade that stuff sometimes, but there's no liquidity. Erdo, if you're $4 away from passing and you feel like you should log out, do it. It sounds crazy, but if you think about it, you only need $4, right? But if you lose 100 trying to make $4, you're probably going to be a little irritated, you know? Zyro, nope, another inside joke on stream. There's a lot of those here. But yeah, just if you feel like you should not be trading, don't. That's quite literally your gut telling you something. If I feel like, you guys have seen it. If my gut is telling me something, I will close a trade even if it's working. Or I'll get out of a trade when it's starting to go against me early, or I'll trim where I didn't really plan to trim, just based off of kind of what's going on. What I would do though is just, you're in a tricky part because it's $4. No matter what, you're likely going to have to, let's say you take one MES contract, you're likely going to have to risk like $25. 5 points on one MES, okay, that's not bad. But you're probably going to be risking $25 to make ideally 15, maybe 12, somewhere in there. And your risk reward is going to be shit on that entry, but that's just how it kind of has to be with where you are. Agreed, Zyro. Agreed. And that's why I follow it, because typically it just tells me I'm missing something that's happening on the chart. Or I'm not missing it, like I see it, I'm just ignoring it. Which is why normally when I get that gut feeling, it's basically like yourself being like, yo, get the hell out of this. Like it doesn't make sense to be in it. So I do. What up, Ali? But no, Zyro, the joke about coffee on stream probably a month ago, I'd say, we got into a very deep rabbit hole of all of the futures instruments you can trade. And we spent probably 45 minutes going into it, not even joking. We found out there's powdered skim milk futures that you can trade. And Chad always jokes that I should trade like soybean oil or soybean futures and try to like pass and get a payout with that. You guys find avocado futures? I don't think we looked at avocado futures. We found orange juice futures. I don't love rejections. What I'm going to do though is stops up to 26. Just because we can spike that low, but for me, I don't want us back below here. We already tested above this in theory. If we get back below here, we might build out more so of a range. I really don't want to be in if we're going to be back down there.
I left my thoughts on the window pane. Watch them drift like summer rain. No need to hold what's never mine. I float beyond the edge of time. I close my eyes and touch the breeze. My soul unwinds.
So I'm going to go here and I'm going to trail this. Normally, I like structure to be better to trail stop, but my whole thesis is once we get this, got that hourly close, if we're going to continue, there's no right reason this should be down here. What we need, though, is 5.5 minutes of buying pressure. At least maybe this candle spikes this low, closes up a little more neutral in the next 30 seconds. Next candle tries to break that high. Then we're back. Then we're looking good up towards the open at least. Then we watch, see how we react to the open. The rest would be history from there. But if we end up closing back below our entry price, we likely trail down towards 26.
I left my thoughts on the window pane. Watch them drift like summer rain. No need to hold what's never mine.
Zyro, I can imagine the slippage, but what we joked about is imagine getting executed on those futures. You have what? 1,000 barrels of soybean oil show up at your front door. What the hell are you going to do with it? Yeah, Zyro, that's why I moved my stop up. Because if we are going to range, I'm going to move that up, squeeze the stop a little bit, take less of a loss overall than what I planned. And I'm cool with that. Lean hog futures look kind of good right now. Cole, if I look at lean hogs and it doesn't look good, I'm timing you out for 60 seconds. You're getting a 60-second timeout. What part of this chart looks good? What part of this chart interests you, my friend? What part of this interests you? Now the problem is, Cole, I'm a man of my word. So I'll see you in 60 seconds. Farewell, my friend. Farewell. You'll be back. That was lean hogs. Hogs. Don't see the vision there. You need to paint the vision. You need to. No, this is what I'm doing to people from now on, though. Not like that. That's just obviously me fucking around with Cole. He's been here since like day one. But if new people irritate me, I'm just going to time them out for like an hour. Because why not? Yeah, Alan, I mean, if you're trading those kind of futures, it is going to be a lot about supply and demand. It's going to be a lot about it. So you're going to need to know exactly what's going on with the overall agriculture if you're trading soybeans and understanding how like the grow season's going to be able to trade those. Aladdin, what do you mean, why not my channel? Got wicked out there. So did take that loss. Less than I planned, so I'm cool with it. And now we just kind of wait and see what happens. Lad, what do you mean, why not my channel, though? Like, what are you referring to? Take control and do you know toxic? Oh, well, I have no problem banning people. Like, Cole's already back. He's just not typing. I only gave him 60 seconds just because he's been in the channel for a long time. But no, there's people. We have people that we ban that are just, if people show up and it's their first message just trying to troll, we just ban them. Just because we don't need, like, the toxicity in chat for the most part. Free Cole till it's backwards. Cole's back. Cole's not timed out. He's just not typing. Free Cole till it's backwards. What up, Seven? What up, Vin? So I took the stop on that one. We ended up projecting 30. For now, if we do end up getting continuation below low of day, it's going to look pretty damn bearish. Mr. Beautiful short according to your strategy. It happens, unfortunately. Joanna, what do you mean, how long can this go? What up, AXP? What do you... Trump tweeted at 7 o'clock. AXP, it hit 5:58 at 2 in the morning. So I need to see a tweet then. Also, I need Cole to type in chat because he hasn't typed since the timer ran out. I'm pretty sure someone just shit talked me in a foreign language in chat. And I don't even know what language it is. Because it auto-corrected. This is where the translation works well. The message says, "You are failures. I swear you are the worst analyst on earth." Hell yeah. Appreciate you, my guy. It's his first message on any stream. So I feel like it's his first day here. W compliment, right? I'll take it. Hell of a compliment. Sweating the worst analyst on the face of the earth. Yeah, Zyro, I got him out of here. Stuff like that's funny though. We've had, my stream's not bad. We probably get one every week and a half, 2 weeks maybe. But Jake's stream, it's every single day that people try to like freak out. And what it is like I actively show my P&L on this. And most of the time it's people sizing aggressively and trying to take a trade and getting absolutely smoked. I can tell you if I'm losing $237. And first off, we tell people don't follow us at all. But if you do, and you blow the account, and I'm losing $240, I don't think it's my fault. I don't think it is. Yeah, Johnson, that happens a lot. And it's just people who follow trades. But also, that's why we always say, don't follow me. Like in the beginning, someone mentioned, oh, I'm in a long, but they were short, so they might close their position. Don't. If you think the analysis can hold, then okay, maybe close it. But if you're just doing it off of me getting in a trade, never do that. Yeah, Zyro, it doesn't bother me. Trust me, it takes a lot to get under my skin. I just thought it was funny because he just basically told me I was shit in a foreign language. Yeah, AXP, my Discord is Ron G Trades. So it's the exact same as my Instagram. MD, I don't hate that at all. If you use that that market for conviction, because obviously we're going to trend a little bit off of what that market does. It's just confluence. I agree with it wholeheartedly. If you like it and it works for you, fucking run it. Sounds like he failed an eval. Got wicked out on shorts just to see longs get wicked out. Yeah, Gael, welcome to the current Asian market we're in. And also, if I definitely didn't have super strong anticipation from Asia, because this is what New York did. If New York does this, Asia's likely going to get some movement, but unless it breaks this structure with volume and buying or selling pressure, it's likely going to be worse than this. And that's just how Asia runs. We'll see, though. See if we can get continuation either way. I'm still open to taking trades. Appreciate you, Zyro. That's the thing. We are who we are, all the streamers. It's cool because we all have slightly different personalities. And none of us are like over the top freaking out about trading. And it's just because that's how it should be. Stop loss Poppy. I don't know, because if I have 5 fundeds, I quit buying evals. I don't keep trading evals. Does anyone know, is there an expiration time on past evals? Because usually with some firms, I know like Apex has a rule, you have to activate it in this amount of time or you lose it, which is dumb. But some firms let you just bank the evals. So you might be able to do that and just hold the evals in the pass stage. Worst case, you can DM their support and ask. And then if you end up blowing 2 of the fundeds, you have 2 reserves that you immediately activate. You bought 2 of the 5 packs. I mean, sounds like you passed 7 out of 10. That's not too fucking shabby. How many different language have you been cussed out in since the start of Project 365? Today is a historic day and marks 2. So, yeah, we're getting up there. Listen to this while the jam keeps the music flowing. Hell yeah, Taylor. How you doing, brother? Yeah, Taylor Russell. And that's the thing, too, with Jake's stream. Because, I mean, obviously, I'm not trading extreme size. I risked $240 after moving my stop. I think the initial risk was like $360. That's a guttable number to most people. When you see Jake trading, it's funny because you can actively see people in the chat start to tilt for Jake. Because obviously, Jake has a different bankroll, right? And that's why I always say, never compare yourself to other traders. I've been working with Jake for 4 years. If you count our one-on-ones, quite literally 5 years. If I ever compared myself to him, I would be depressed, right? I mean, it's just logical. That's just how it goes. But people will see his numbers and they're astronomical numbers to them, right? If Jake loses $2,000, people think he's dumb because he lost $2,000. But there's a huge bankroll difference there to where $2,000 is what he's willing to risk. People could see Stock Market Wolf lose $40,000 and they're like, holy shit, that's my yearly salary. But to him, that it is what it is. That's the risk he's willing to put on, right? And that's just what a lot of people can't grasp at that stage. When he's up $15,000, but he's looking for a $30,000 trade, people are freaking out because they can't fathom losing that $15,000. So they start trying to tell him how to trade. That's why he just closes the chat in a trade. Just wicked in my TP on MNQ. Now I owe them 1 shit. Well, you owe them 1 what? Anyways, congrats on your TP, brother. NQ is volatile. There's another 100 points right there. This is a good example we talked about earlier. If you missed this move, which someone mentioned they did in chat, there will be a lot more of them. Just off this one. Missed this move. Okay, well, let's just say we'll go here. So it's 100-something points. The exact same move happened right here. There's a lot of opportunity to catch them. Oh, MD, people tweak out. You should see when Jake like has super high conviction in the market where he thinks NQ is going to rip 300 points. He'll be up $20,000 and you can see people actively tilting in his chat because of his trade. Fish, you're going to use your language. You can add another to the list. Feel free, brother. It'll translate it for me. Being up 20K and not getting out is insane. It is insane, Logan. But you're also talking to the guy who has had, well, you're not talking to the guy, you're talking about the guy who has had multiple six-figure days. So that's kind of where it is, right? In that perspective, it's like me getting out for 200 when I think the trade can run to 1,000, you know? And that's what a lot of people need to do, is just cut a couple zeros off and you'll understand it. Like, I've personally worked with people who have gotten on a call with me and they're like, yeah, I'm down $1.4 million. And I'm like, damn. All right, well, pretend that's like 14,000. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Zyro. So some of our other analysts, obviously, dude, I'm like when it comes to P&L, I'm like the fucking little guy. Me and Lamelli are in the back of the pack, but Jake, Rake Trades, whose this channel is, he's traded Forex before. He took $10,000 to like 215K within 48 hours. He live traded for a month on a vlog where he took like 10K to, what was it, like 70K, something like that. But he's had multiple six-figure days trading options. And also, I think has he had a six-figure day trading futures? I don't know if he's had a six-figure day trading like self-funded futures, but he's made, like in the beginning of streams, he made $52,000 trading. Yeah, Jake's had multiple six-figure days. I think his biggest was like 200 and something thousand. On the long for MNQ, I'm waiting. I'll be patient. If we get I can't long that 15. If we get something on the 5, I'm in the same thesis. If it builds up here, the thing is, I'm not going to be aggressively counter trend. I took one loss. So now we got to lock in a little bit more, have a little more conviction before I take stabs. The interesting part, though, is the YM is above the open. And it is holding very well. Gold just got, I'd say smoked, but 10 points isn't smoked. 13 points isn't smoked on gold. It just looks smoked compared to the range it was in. Oil hasn't moved. Damn. Interesting. Yeah, I think I'm just going to be patient no matter what. I'm long going to short the rips. Rock off, Alan. Hell yeah. Hope it works. I'm open to it, but now I would need us back above 26s, right around where my stop was, and then get some type of maybe 5-minute higher low. Because my first trade, I'm willing to take stabs. I'm willing to take stabs on like 2 entries, and then worst case, I just rotate accounts. But for me, I need to make sure I have conviction if I'm going to take more trades. And that's just something I've done over time to where it's like tilt prevention. So I can't tilt off my ass. I don't allow myself to trade counter trend multiple times. Because what I used to do in trading is just buy all of the dips. Every dip I saw, I would buy without any problems at all. Smack, thank you for 1,400 on 2 accounts on Copy Trader. Hell yeah. Trade passion. I look at chat for 2 seconds. Order the Sassy Twinkle Strawberry Daiquiri Extra Sugar on the rim. What the fuck? Some of the shit you guys say, I just don't get. Yeah, static. When you're looking at prop firms, every prop firm's likely shit in all when you compare it to a self-funded account. But it's just what's going to be better out of those. And the biggest aspect is likely that a lot of Forex prop firms are individually owned by traders, just from what I've seen. So that's what kind of keeps me away from them as well. Ask for trade passion. Is that a song or something? Because you've said it twice. And I don't know what the hell you mean, brother. Because so far, your first comment on the stream was take the trade right now in the beginning. And then those two comments, and I don't know what the fuck it means. He said in Walker Podcast, Titan of Tomorrow, he even lost 50K. MD, are you talking about Jake? Because yeah, what a lot of people need to realize too is if you're making, let's say, $200,000 on a trade, you're going to be risking heavy 5 figures throughout. Unless you catch 1,000% move and don't trim at all, then yeah, you're gonna see a potential of that. But most of the time, you're gonna be risking 40, 50, 60K to make that. How does YM correlate with NQ? I know oil negatively correlates. Logan, it's an index, right? If the market's moving fluidly in a healthy aspect, they'll all be trending together. But what this typically means is when we see 1 or 2 indices relatively strong, the market's in a range. The market's kind of rotating, right? We have YM decently stronger on the daily close. Obviously, structurally, NQ still up there with the strongest along with RTY. And then ES is lagging a little bit. So what this tells us is we're just in a daily range. Once we end up getting continuation across all 4, then you'll start to see some broader continuation. Sounds like a headache. T-Bot, that's why when I drink, which I rarely do, it's basically like tequila soda, and that's all I drink. What up, Doug? How are the levels tonight? Not bad. I was mainly watching the range from 30 to 50. We've spiked below 30 a few times. I took one stab, took a loss on this rejection here after being up a little bit. And now I'm just kind of still waiting to see. Because I don't know why. I just don't believe these sell-offs at the moment. Because we keep holding. Yeah, we're making these little moves lower, but we keep holding on a broader scale. Also, what do we have likewise? Guys, we're at 96 likes. So giveaways at 150, you know, technically you get 30 minutes on stream, but you guys know there's times for those of you that are new, there's times I stream till 10 PM. There's times I stream till 11 PM. It all depends. 1, on what the market's doing. 2, how interactive chat is and how the hell I'm feeling. Doug, for me personally, I'm not overly in love with it. I feel like just based off of how every single time we're getting a sell-off, we're quickly reversing it. Obviously, except for the first one. I'm hesitant on shorts, but I'm also just being more patient for broader conviction. What I'm also hesitant because of is the YM with relative strength and the RTY not far away from it. But the YM's already above the open, getting buying pressure back up, which if this holds and gets continuation, it kind of sucks because that's part of the conviction why we took this one. That ended up getting stopped out. So it's like if this one rips, but if there's an entry, we'll try to find it. Crude also looks like it's setting up a decent short. This guy just trades for fun at this point. He's too rich to care. Zyro, you also have to think, if he's just like overly aggressively scalping and stuff, he's likely just passing evals. Because he does that live on stream as well.
Golden rays upon your skin. Every heartbeat pulls me in.
You started coding some sort of system. Are you trying to code like an AI to trade it?
Moments drift in summer breeze. Close your eyes and feel the day. Let the world just melt away. Dreams like waves. Drift so free.
Hang on 1 second.
Summer's light. Breathe tonight.
All right, so if we get back above 30, I'll be stalking to see if we get some type of conviction for an entry. I really hope we don't do what we did yesterday, where it's just a little 2-minute 3-bar play that triggers. So we'll see.
Dreams like waves. Drift so free. Summer's light.
All right, so let's keep an eye how we react to 30. The interesting is the YM still getting continued buying pressure here.
Under the
Short direct trade, teacher juice, yeah, short was great. Didn't even take that long. I wanted a little lower. FOMO sucks. Keith, the thing is that like it's, and yeah, I understand FOMO, but it just don't try to avoid letting yourself get overly into that. Just because to me, and I'm not saying you're like this, but overly insane FOMO a lot of times, unless it's just an A+ setup that you were just waiting for hours trying to take, it's kind of just making yourself slightly emotional when you really don't need to be off of it. Just because there will be more trades, right? Unless it's like the only 30-minute window you can trade throughout the day, there will be plenty more to take. And the reason I'm usually so strict on people talking about FOMO is just because I know what it can cause in people's trading.
dreams like waves.
You trace my hand through scattered glasses on the table, laughing my ear like every word's a little.
I'm stalking just to see how we react here.
Hold on,
Oil's still holding, which has me a little more patient. Gold setting more of a lower high as well. If we reject this area, we could push right back to the lows. How this next 2 5-minute candles close is going to be pretty important for this 15 on ES. Obviously, the YM strong. It's likely going to try to get up towards the intra-session highs and then trade off of that. Ideally, I'd love to see a 5-minute consolidation bar. The next one break, get a strong continuation. Can look for an entry on that one if that's something we're going to take. Which, let's say we get that, basically be the exact same fucking entry as before. Stop at 24, maybe even 23. Wait, wasn't our stop 23? Oh no, we raised it to 26. That's what it was, yeah. Yeah, 1 HP wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. Because the new, like, usually most of the news like that is already going to be priced into the market. So people are anticipating some large, massive rally to happen when most of the time it's already priced in. The move likely already happened that you're trying to chase, and you're just going to get cooked. I'm going to try a little less size than before, 2 contracts less, nothing crazy. I'm willing to add into this at a later time. This is literally the exact same trade I just took. The exact same fucking trade. Just a different time. But I did take 2 contracts less. When you know to change bias, you like anime. Hell of a name. What I like to do is set a level on your chart. When we get below this, there should be no reason to long, you know? That's why I was willing to move my stop back up towards 26, because I knew if we failed this area here, we should not go down here. If we go down there, the chart's going to be more bearish than bullish. So at that point, that's where I'm going to be like, all right, this is my pivot. If we get below that, I'm not going to be long. And a lot of times people use the opening print. I use like 5-15 minute pivots if I'm trading a session like this where there's not a shitload of price action so far. Just off of this session, obviously there's more from New York. But just it's trial and error. You have to figure out exactly what you like to do. Some people use EMAs, some people use VWAP, some people use the opening print. I use structure. Beautiful bump. Yeah, so far. We'll see if we can get enough continuation up towards like 48s.
Life's too short to waste a day. Shake it off.
Appreciate you, Logan. We'll see if it gets that continuation, though. So far, we're not out of the woodwork yet. You got to remember, we're still in a wider range. Here's something to keep an eye on, though. While ES is approaching this little resistance here, we also have NQ retesting its breakdown area from this 5 minute. Same time, we have YM spiking the session highs. These are all very crucial areas. If we reject them, we likely go right fucking back down, and we are stuck in this range. What'd you do, Mike? You enter, it pumps 40 points. Yeah, Logan, that was just my liquidity filling, you know? This funded account, just the liquidity popping off. Blue 50 funded. Dear God, I hope not. Mike, I thought you weren't buying any till vacation, though, brother. They're shorting RTY to its last session, New York. I'm going to guess that's supposed to be VWAP. And price don't want to break to the downside from the 5 minute range. I think I'm going to get stopped. Honestly, I was just Jake. I'd invest in Bloomberg Terminal. I've heard a lot about Bloomberg Terminal. I haven't used them personally, though. Or, like, looked into them too much. What up, Tay-Day? How you doing, brother? Mike, that's usually why those ones are cheaper. And, I mean, it's just, that's the unfortunate part, right? People always talk about, Apex's old accounts. I don't know if the new ones have one-time fee or whatever. But, because I haven't traded them in probably 8 weeks. But cheaper accounts like that, like I think Trade 1 Futures, something like that? I've heard someone talk about. Or like Apex, they have those activation fees, so their sales are that more enticing. I've been scalping, gambling, I've made $200 back. Logan, at least you understand it, right? You know. I just linked the TradeAvate you taught me about to TradingView. Are there any secret settings I should know about? Day-Day, unfortunately, there's a path that we can head down that I can help you on, but that ends at TradeAvate. because I've never connected Tradibate to TradingView. So that'd be a question where, like, if someone in chat has any tips for you, feel free. But I've never crossed that bridge, so I don't know a single fucking thing about it. Bloomberg Terminal is $32K a year, but it's so worth it. Cyro, we must have, you know, different pocket sizes, because I ain't paying $3,000 a month for something. But broker, do you have connected? I don't. I draw this on myself. You guys, you can see my P&L right here. This is my Tradibate screen. I have it from a different window showing for you guys. It's 50x my net worth. Joke's on you, Logan. That's like a million times mine because I'm negative, bitch. But no, I don't. I used to have a problem over trading, so I do not connect Tradibate to TradingView. Appreciate you, Logan. I'm not opposed to taking some at the open. Obviously, it's a little more of an aggressive move so far. I kind of want to see near session highs. So I'm likely going to hold. Stop. Let's go break even, though, at 30.25. Even though this is a nice trade, what fucking irritates me a little bit, I used 10 contracts on this one. And right with this one, I was like, all right, there's still a little bit of conviction. I didn't have nearly as much, and I wanted to add into it. And we didn't get the fucking opportunity. It just ripped. It just went straight up. Yeah, I mean, this is what I was looking at before. And the craziest thing is I'm happy I moved my stop, because I would have been irritated if we got wicked right here and then it just face ripped. All right, chat. Not too shabby so far. So lost, what, 3/4 an R on the first trade. Now up like 2R on this one. So should be green. What I'm personally going to do, since we're up around the open, is I'm probably just going to take some. Yeah. Filled a little bit there at 42.50. I'm gonna raise stop 32.50. I don't want to go aggressive with the stop at the moment, even though we can still see a big rejection here. I could raise it to like 35, but we could easily retest that. And if we pull back, I get stopped out here. It would put me at just flat break even on the day, which is interesting. But no, nice trade so far. We'll see if we can get continuation. Main reason I'm willing to hold is because I would love to see more, but I don't know if we're going to get it because we are in just a violent market at the moment. And it's not necessarily like overly violent. It's just very consolidated. One thing I am willing to do, though, I did take some off. I'm not opposed to adding that back in if structure agrees with it. Appreciate you, crypto. Yeah, Kaigir, it's the greatest thing to do. Even if you just want to focus on NQ, cool, right? If you want to focus on ES, awesome. If you want to focus on just gold, run it. I think a lot of traders would benefit just focusing on one name and working on executing that to the best of their abilities. See how retesting lows of the session? Let's see it break 74. Break 74, head all the way down to 73.3-ish. I'm cool with that. Straight behind that move is higher than Tokyo Open. That was, knowing chat, it was probably just AXP placing a long order. I don't see any tweets. So I don't know if there's any news in general, but. I hope Trump does yell. When he yells, the market moves, and I mean we make money. Well, it depends. Trump can yell some not so good things, and ES is down at 7,400 in 20 minutes. We've seen that before. Yeah, Eddie. And that's the thing, though. If you're in like the consistent or break-even stage, phenomenal, right? There's nothing wrong with trading. And even though I say a lot of people could benefit off just focusing on one name and understanding it, it's because then you can fine tune your strategy. Plus it builds patience and you understand exactly how you should execute better to enhance it. And I'm not talking about people who are either slightly profitable or break even for the most part, but more so people learning their strategy. Because a lot of people think they fully understand their strategy. I'm willing to bet a majority, not a majority, but a larger percentage that think they do really don't. Remember that 600-point candle on ES a few weeks ago? Yeah, Logan. What's crazy is that was literally like, what, a week ago or a week and a half ago, NQ was moving 800 points a day. And now we're seeing 100-point rally or 100-point sell-offs and going, hell yeah. Yeah, no, I agree, Eddie. Because there also is people that just trade one exact setup across a bunch of different charts, which if so, awesome. My buddy and Jake interviewed him, Zach Austin. I think he trades like a very similar setup across all of his options names. And he does very fucking well with it. But then there's also people who will focus on a smaller basket of names and have a few different setups that they trade, but it's just because they understand those names better. Which that's more so where I lean. Daniel, I feel like a lot of people have had those moments where you just look back at yourself and go, what the fuck just happened? Through some of my darkest trading days, the bell rings at market close and I'm just sitting there. And I'm like, I need to open back up so I can correct what the hell I just did. Like, I need to be able to work on what I just fucked up. By the way, chat, we are at 112 likes. There's 183 of you guys in here. So if you haven't yet, hit the like button. Once we get to 150, I will be running a giveaway. Stream typically ends in 9 minutes. I feel like I'm going to run a little bit longer than that just because I don't feel like ending stream right this second. So like the stream. Appreciate you, Mike. Daniel, that's the worst. There's been times where I have a shit day and I'm talking like probably early or late, maybe like mid to late last year. I would have like a shit day. I probably had one or two this year. But where I look back at it and I'm like, I'm not even going to journal this because I know it was just a shit show. Like it was just a bad day for me. Did not trade well, did not execute well. I'm just going to pretend it didn't happen. Because yeah, I can benefit from that. But also most of the time, I know if I make a mistake, the mistake I'm making. At least when the trade's closed. Alan, that's why I took this quicker entry on the 2 minute, because you guys know what I mainly focus on is 5 minute structure. If you guys remember when we started to make this move, I looked at the 2 minute right here on this candle and said, I really hope we don't do what we did last night. Because if you remember last night with that rally we were watching right here, it was kind of just a straight up rally. And we just watched the whole thing happen for the most part. Because I wanted somewhat of a 15-minute consolidation. If the market's going to do that, that's why you saw me trading on the 2-minute instead. I was looking for that setup on the 2-minute, which is right roughly where we got in. So we got in on a 2-minute higher low where it ended up breaking above the prior candle's high and then rode that up. Yeah, worst case, Alan, call it a night, brother. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Chat, I'm putting up a poll. How are you sitting on the session? We a little green, a little red, a little flat. How y'all doing? I feel like it's probably a larger percentage flat than I would anticipate. And I also wouldn't be shocked if people were red so far. Because, I mean, unless you took this initial short, there's been nice scalps, I'd say. Because to me, even this trade I'm in would be more so like a scalp for me. Because it's been 17 minutes or something like that. Blue one account and pass another. Erdo, I get. Do you technically call that flat? Is it? I feel like I would just call that break even. You lost one, won one. It's flat on the day. Can't complain. Big red, shake my head. Sorry to hear that guy, L. Hourly candle in 5 minutes. Yeah, we have Tokyo open in 5. That is why my stop. Oh, I don't have it on the chart. Where do we raise stop to? 32.50. I raised my stop all the way up to here. Which I'm cool with. You want NQ over Globex open? Fair. I don't hate that at all. I mean, I don't blame people if they didn't take a long here. I was hesitant at first. For me, though, I was still trading off of this overall thesis. And yeah, like I said, I used a slightly less size because I didn't have as much conviction as the other one. And it was my second stab on the day. But even with less size, still technically green now. But if it does pull back to stop, I'll be break even. Yeah, I'll be break even on the day. Which I'm cool with. Down pennies, Mrs. Pump had to walk away for a few. Sorry to hear, brother. There will be more. That's the greatest thing about the market. Little red. Okay, candle 5. Little green on Asia, but red on New York. Not bad. Dude, I have not been trading much New York. I don't know. Once I do, even if I'm up, like, let's say $400 in this session, I lose all interest to even touch those accounts during New York. Sitting in trade, buying from 603 on NQ, targeting 630. Okay. So where did your stop be? Probably, depending on your risk to reward, I would assume pretty close to where we are. Yeah, one reason I'm willing to hold the rest of this position is looking at the hourly. Now, if we end up slamming down in the next 3 minutes, get an ugly hourly close, might not be overly interested, right? Something I could be interested in if we weren't coming directly into one of the volume-driven times of this session. I'd be honestly interested in looking for a higher low to add into it. But for now, I'm probably just going to sit on it. What up, Dougie? Wasn't Tokyo open 1 hour ago? Tokyo opens 9 p.m. Eastern, isn't it? Or have I been saying it wrong this whole time? Fuck off, Claude. Oh, okay, so yeah, Shanghai. But I feel like this is still wrong. By the way, chat, a lot of people talk about AI taking our jobs, right? So what I like to do is ask it simple questions. What stock market opens at 8 p.m. EST? No single major stock exchange opens at 8 p.m. EST, right? Searched all these things, couldn't find a single answer for that. Nothing, not a single market. I thought Asia opens. Oh, you're right. Gives me the exact market that opens at 8 p.m. EST. And people think Claude's taking our jobs. It's got a long way to go before it quits being stupid. Dude, AI is so dumb. It's so intelligent, but so fucking dumb. I swear, AI is like very book smart, but just about other stuff. It's got a long way to go. China has better technology, yes, because it also doesn't have as many restrictions as the US. That's why their drone infrastructure is far more superior than the United States, and I believe their AI intelligence likely is as well. I'd be shocked if it wasn't. All right. Also, here's another example. I know I'm harping on AI because I was just reading farther. Tokyo, 9 p.m. EST, right? Tokyo, or 8 p.m. EST. Tokyo, 9 p.m. EST. And then apparently Hong Kong and Shanghai are 10:30. What? I don't know if AI knows what it's talking about. Can someone accidentally full port their live so NQ goes up? This liquidity is way too thin. Zyro, the unfortunate thing is every single person in chat could full port all of their accounts right now. And it wouldn't even move the NQ 1 point probably. First off, because 95% of them trade prop firms, which there's nothing wrong with. By the way, chat, you guys are 22 likes away from the Alpha Futures account. It is up to you when that giveaway is ran because I haven't seen it in end stream at 9 today. We're running a little longer. Don't know when I'm ending. We'll see. But y'all decide when that account gets given. Sorry, I'm opening everything up. Because I know usually when we get close, you guys spam the likes quicker. Logan, you can be on evals or funded. Neither will move the market because funded accounts are still paper trading. Because that's how the market works. Fair. Honestly, Diego, probably true because there's probably a few whales in here. But I feel like it would. I wonder what the exact amount it would take to put into NQ to move it, let's say 25 points. Find a trade, gang. I'm feeding for a trade. I'm in one. I'm still running this one for now. Could look for other setups if we're going to get continuation, which I'm not opposed to. But we need to get confirmation above the open on ES. Which if we get, I'm cool with it. Yeah, I would assume it's easily billions. How much would you guess? Multiple billions to move the market. Multiple. That's why I think this chat couldn't even flinch it. Unless there's someone in here that's worth like $500 million. They're just hiding. No, Logan. You are fully simulated on prop firms until you are in a live account to where you actually go up to live. And there's a reason they do it. And it's honestly, because I love looking into the back end of business stuff. I love the thought, like thinking about it. Because think about it from their perspective. If they gave you a real capital when you went funded, every single person goes funded. We know roughly the numbers where, because some prop firms post them of how many people get payouts. It's like what, 4% that get a funded account actually reach a payout. In their minds, they can either risk paying out those 4%, $2,000, or they have to put $2,000 of risk on every single funded account someone ever opens. And that's kind of where the maths for prop firms. So on average, it will take me 20. Well, maybe. Could take you more. You got to remember, it's a theory of averages. It could take you 180 and someone else won. You know? Honestly, Diego, yeah, that's probably fair. I didn't even think about it. I think about the market as like a whole perspective versus thinking about just during this session. So yeah, you're probably correct. Especially, I'm sure if you did it near one of the slower hours during Asia. Now, I mean, Logan, they do make it back, but now their cost basis is lower, right? And the craziest thing is, if you think about it, they're still paying out hundreds of millions of dollars, most 8 figures monthly, especially like Tradify and Lucid, those kind of firms. Obviously larger firms as well. If they had to put up risk for all of the traders that are getting funded accounts, that would be the most disgusting number in the world. You'd be looking at like easily 9 figures every single month of losses they would accrue. If you think of volume, that big candle in the 5-minute NQ in New York needs 300 orders. In Asia, one big order of 40 can fill the entire candle. Oh, that's fair. That makes sense. Yeah, because liquidity is going to be a lot thinner. Okay, yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I was just thinking of it from a broader perspective. Yeah, it's fair. Logan, that's your total cost basis on evals? Or that's like what you're down on an eval account? One thing you have to remember too is everybody's different in the trading space. Also, $4.95 is not bad. It's not bad. That's drastically cheap, brother. I blew way more than that before I got a payout. It took me like 2 or 3 payouts to be break even. But that's because I was a fucking degenerate 4.5 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was. You've been trading exactly a month to this day. Oh, fuck. Logan, you got nothing to worry about. You got time. It's going to take time. But you just got to know, like, you're doing well if you've only lost 4 in your first month of trading. 5, technically, in your first month of trading. I'm not saying it's great to blow accounts, but it's great being able to trial and error with a prop firm account because you kind of have a lot less risk overall. Yeah, no. So, I mean, for you, it wouldn't shock me if it took someone 20 accounts. It truly wouldn't, because I don't think that's a crazy amount. It also just depends on how you're trading, but you're learning. And the thing is too, let's say you did that on self funds, which I did when I first started trading. I lost $17,000 in 2 months. So you're going to go off a hell of a lot less of a cost basis. Yeah, T-Deck, that doesn't shock me. I mean, I knew people who blew, well, Logan, technically, if you do the maths, I talked about it in depth yesterday on stream. I've talked about it a few times. I took like 7K in shares up to 15K, then made 2K in options, and then lost it all. And then lost another 33 on top of that. So yeah, I was a little DJ in the beginning. I was not gonna pay out before 17. Logan, if you come back on stream and tell me you lost $17,000, if you blow 170 accounts before you get one, it might be time to not hang up the cleats, but get some help, you know? Oh, before you first pay out? Yeah. Oh, quit. I don't tell people to quit. Now, I do agree there are certain personalities that likely won't do well in trading. Like one of my best friend's brothers that I play video games with when we play, he's the kind of person where he can't look at his like 401k because he's a big investor. He has a good job, all that. He can't look at his 401k on a down day because he gets upset he's down $500. I'm like, brother, I've lost 15 times that in a day before. And he just wants to throw up immediately. Yeah, some people do buy 20 packs. It all depends on your risk. You lose 17K, you better get some one-on-ones with me to fix it. Hell, the greatest thing is after you lose 17K, we can just round it up to 20 and you just spend all that on one-on-ones and we're chilling. Like whole numbers are a lot better, you know? Zyro, I can give you the exact reason why I lost a shitload of money in the beginning. The financial aspect for me, I was very negligent growing up. Because my family wasn't loaded. We grew up blue collar. Blue collar aspects, you grew up in small towns. I didn't know you could invest, like you could trade the stock market on a day-to-day basis until I was like 19 probably. We don't learn that kind of shit. Our finance aspect in high school, I learned how to write a check. That was it. And that's all we learned. It's the entire concept of it. And it wasn't there. I worked blue collar. I saved a bunch of money. I had a bunch of money. I knew there was a chance to make a bunch of money. And I was just negligent in it. I didn't know anything about proper risk. And I basically just gambled wholeheartedly. And I can admit that easily. But yeah, I didn't have the background for it. I didn't know anything about proper risk. And I just jumped in with way too much money. One of my peeps lost like 20K before payout. But once he got the payout, it took him 3 payouts and he was green. Hell yeah. Also, with the funded or the evals and funded accounts, some people blow them more often. Like I will occasionally blow accounts. Jake blows accounts. We don't worry about it because we don't look at this necessarily. I mean, most of the time I look at it as like proper trading. Like I'll trim on evals, no problem. But we look at it from more so a business perspective versus a trading perspective, where we have our net risk on the accounts and what we put in versus the net what we can get out of it, you know? Dyro, I get that wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. For me though, I was way more risk adverse, and I still am. But no, a lot of us, at least bigger traders, like even Alan. Alan last year pulled out, what is it, chat? $880,000. He's our pre-London streamer. I'm mentioning that just because I know you're new. He pulled out $880,000 from prop firms. I think he said $200,000 on accounts overall. So we look at it from the risk to reward perspective from like a business. Yeah, Logan, he's very knowledgeable. I mean, he's also been working in the restaurant industry for like 15, 20 years, working directly with people and getting over their psychology for the most part. So yeah, he's very well knowledged. Yeah. I mean, most of the people that I know that have absolute bags from prop firms trade them with that perspective. Not at all, Zyro. Nope. And like Jake, he talked about it when, if you see his stream in the morning for New York, he has a banner on it that shows his month-to-date payouts. And he went over it yesterday on stream. He's gotten like 31K so far this month. And his expenses he mentioned today just hit 5K. So it's 6-1 right there. But yeah, that's the bigger picture we look at least. And I agree, people in the beginning shouldn't be blowing accounts. They should learn a strategy first. They could easily go a little bit more risk adverse. What I usually run, if I'm being less risky on the accounts, is going to be $200 losses, 200 to 300, because typically I'm not losing 6+ trades in a row. So that's what I usually run. I started trading in March, trading paper for 6 weeks. Now I've bought 6 accounts and I have 2 payouts so far. Fuck yeah, 1 HP. Dude, I love hearing y'all kill it. That's also what, 2 people so far, at least on this stream alone, that have gotten payouts year to date and they weren't even a trader in December. That's crazy. Honestly crazy. But I'd love to see it. What do we have likewise? 151. All right, chat. Y'all know the deal. Y'all know the deal. Once the bot... Why did that not change? There we go. Once the bot shows up in chat, I'm going to catch up on chat first. Then you'll see the notification. Then you can type in it. Let's see. Yeah. So I'm going to catch up on chat real quick. Then you'll see the notification. Then you can type on it and we'll go from there. Friday 365 is mastermind its own. That's the reason we do it. End of day trailing makes going too slow. Not a good idea either. Props are not capital. You cannot create capital with it, but cannot treat it like your own. Or you can create capital with it, but cannot treat it like your own. That's fair. I think it's, but I don't mind people treating it like their own money if they're learning. That's one thing I will say. So with this chat, we are going to be giving away an Alpha Futures 50K account. Let me close that giveaway. And we're going to run for 5 minutes. All you have to do, exclamation mark, the word enter, and then send it in the chat. You have 5 minutes to do it. Do not enter. All right, Ollie. What's the 15 looking like? Might see that overall continuation. Hourly inside bar. I don't like that structure. Because we are struggling. I wouldn't be mad if I got stopped out of this in runners. Where did I get filled? I got filled at 43 on my trim. 42.75, if we're being honest. Finally got my short. Hell yeah, Alan. If I'm going to get stopped out, glad you caught it. Dude, look at gold's hourly. That's disgusting. Disgusting. I got no setup around my 7 usual assets. MD, that tells you all you need to know about the market right now. Is it is not looking great. Anyways, chat, I'm running to the bathroom real quick. Once you hit enter, or once you enter the giveaway, first off, make sure you type exclamation mark enter. Second, like the stream, sub to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll be back in like 30 seconds. There we go. Motherberry, why'd you say free signals coming up? Time go long, go long. You talking to me? By the way, Trade for Ashton, I saw your message before I left. Yeah, MD, it sucks to have to journal shit like that. It does. But best thing you can do is learn from it, you know? No, you're in a long right now at 550. Hope it works. Wait, did you get in before the rally then? Assuming you're still holding, similar to I am, but I'd be shocked if I didn't get stopped out here with what we currently look like. Chat, you have 15 seconds if you haven't entered yet. Exclamation mark, enter gets you in the giveaway. What I'm likely going to do is open it for like 20, 30 more seconds. Just because I didn't say it a lot. And there's not, I mean, there's a decent amount of you in. But there probably should be more, I would assume. So if you didn't get in yet, I will open it for another, let's see. We'll go till this says 2:45 on the 5-minute candle. So you got 30 seconds if you didn't. Lucky I'm feeling generous for those of you who didn't get in. Yeah, like 10 fucking people. What takes you so long? Ollie, I'm going to set up a prompt to where typing exclamation mark exit gets you out of the trade or out of the giveaway just because you guys always type it. Do that, dude. You know how crazy that would be? Anyways, I think I just ran over my time. I did by 40 seconds. Congrats if you got in. After the winner is CJ. Have you won before? I know you're always in chat. Hell yeah, CJ. Have you won? I'm CJ. Thanks for the account. CJ is in my name. I've never won. Hell yeah. Obviously, you know, we always check just in case. That's why we make sure to ask people. Long or short gold? I mean, what do I do with this hourly candle? I don't want to do anything with that. So for me, gold's like, I'm not going to touch this. I'm not overly interested in new setups at the moment. I would like time. Like if we get an hourly continuation, set a higher low on the 5 minute, cool. I could see an interest in gold. Same thing on the indices. If we hold somewhere around here, get a continuation back up to the open, cool. We can look for longs. But at the moment, I'm not looking at it like, oh my God, I desperately want to jump in anything. Never won. Hell yeah, CJ. Shoot me a DM on Instagram. Let me know in chat when you do, so that way I can make sure it's you. Oil going up a bit at the moment. Yeah, it's crazy. Oil has not, it made this move, but it has not left the open. Really hasn't. I'm just basically waiting for this to hit my trailing stop, because I know it's going to. Gotta make sure I don't have any other contracts set. Ryan, my risk to reward changes every single trade. For me, if this got continuation above the open, I wanted to sweep the session highs. I front ran that by 1.5, 2 points-ish, somewhere around there, about 1.5. So that was where my target came from here, to where I really wanted to trim. I got out a little, 3 of my 8 contracts early because of how aggressive this rally was. If we were going to continue, we were likely going to start to consolidate anyway. And at that point, I can either look to re-add into it or just take some off and let the runners do their thing. Did you find out when the Tokyo Open actually is? I quit asking ChatGPT. I'll look at the exact details later. I always thought China was 8, Tokyo was after, based off of the geography of it. But I guess I'm wrong. All I know is the Asia market's open. Just sent it. Let me check real quick. Quiet day here. Made all TP during New York. Nothing after that. Beautiful. I mean, it's not a bad day, though. Not a bad day. It's unfortunate when you just like sit by a chart and don't get anything out of it, but could be worse, you know. I'm CJ. Perfect. You're the only DM I got, so no one's trying to claim it. I'll shoot you the code after stream. By the way, in case this does hold, I will still be in this trade. I've thought about adding to it. I really don't want to, just because structurally this looks like it should wick me out, right? Unless we hold here. Why I put my stop where I did, if it pulled back, we talked about it could easily pull back and retest this like 33, 34 area. I just simply put it right below that to where if it breaks this area, it'll wick me out. I probably could have put it a little bit lower, but I really didn't want to go from red to green to red. I'd rather go red to green to break even, which is why my stop's right there. See you, Ollie. Graduation for the little one tomorrow? Hell yeah, brother. Enjoy it. Guess I'm bored and tempted to overtrade. Dude, I feel like if I scalped, it would be a problem. It would be a serious problem for me because I know I would overtrade. That's why I don't mind Asia session, because unless we are stuck in a range like this for 3 hours, which we have been multiple times, then it's pretty hard to overtrade the way I trade, because I'll be in trades for 3 hours at times. Wrong stop. My stop placement's wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but so far my stop placement's pretty fucking good, I'd say. Now, if we hit it, cool. Is what it is. Leave fixed, full stop, or full profit. No. No. That's not how I trade. Sorry, brother. Just because you do it don't mean I have to, and that's the greatest thing about trading. Because also, here's what I'm willing to do on this trade. If this holds on the runners, which I would be shocked if it did. But if we did something like this, where we came up here, held this, maybe set a little bit of a higher low right here, and then tried to break, I'd be willing to add right here on this. I would add back to my position without a single hesitation and then let the position keep going, which would still get me in decently below where I actually trimmed. But no, I will always move stops based off structure. Okay, so MDC, you're a scalper, but not like... And I feel like it's probably just social media scalpers, because whenever I see a scalper talking, it's like 40 trades a day. And I think like that alone would drive me nuts. If you're just taking smaller moves, but like 3 per day, then I love it. Not a bad idea. See you later, Dev. Episode 8, season 11. I'm closing in. Dude, how many seasons? Wait, you're already on season 11? Didn't you just start that like 3 weeks ago? Brother. Can you just make it over 45? If we hold 33, 34s, yeah. You can make it over 45. Now I restarted 7. Okay. I was going to be concerned, to be fully honest. I was going to be very concerned. I know you're the king of binge watching, but I guess you love being stop hunted. That issue is psychological. It's not, Marbury, because I don't have an issue with it. If I had an issue with it, then it would be an issue. But I don't have an issue with it, so it's not an issue. I feel like it's pretty simple. I'm spoiling that whatever show it is. Chat, one thing I will tell you. You will never, you probably won't get the opportunity, but one of the greatest things to do is binge watch a show with Jake that he loves. Because he will explain every little detail of the story as like it goes on for like more complex shows. And it makes it so much more entertaining to watch. Psychological fish corrected him. Yeah, if we set a little 2-minute lower high here, I would anticipate that stop to get hit, which I don't have any problems with. Oil's also getting decently strong, back above the open. Gold's still getting smoked. Bearish pressure is continuing. If gold gets this break under the New York lows around 187s, I'd be looking towards like 164s, maybe like 174 on the way down. We could easily make him an overnight move there. I guarantee you, if gold keeps this structure, Alan will be looking for shorts during his session. How's that poll doing? I didn't even look at it. 46% green. I'll take it. 26% red, 28% flat. Not bad. Solid day all around. I'll take it. I started watching Stranger Things because of Jake. My wife and I loved it. I started watching it too because of Jake. Stranger Things. What's the... I forget the other show that he loves. Mr. Robot. That was a good show. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched like 3 seasons of it. 2 seasons of it. Somewhere around there. Yeah, I have to be really invested into a show to watch it, or else I lose interest. All right, chat. I got my runner stop there. I don't know if you guys can see, but I can basically retire today. Like, the retirement fund is compounding. After the runners got stopped, I am up $2.50 after the first loss. So we're basically fucking rich. Optimus Prime dies in Stranger Things. Damn it, Fish. Why you gotta be out here spoiling shit? Logan, we're basically retiring. I mean, some would dare say on the same level as Stock Market Wolf with today's P&L. I don't know who would say it, but some would dare. Yeah, I haven't watched the last season of Stranger Things. The only thing that's strange is the trading strategy. Marbury, if you truly think there's only one trading strategy, well, here's the thing too, because I know you've been in chat for a while. Like, you've been here for weeks and you still try to judge the trading strategy, but you keep showing up. You keep coming back. I don't get it. But no, everyone trades different. If you think there's only one type of trading strategy, plus if the market breaks this support and gets back below it, it's going to go down here. Why the hell would I leave my stop down there? It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all. For me, I move my stop based off of structure. I don't have a problem with it. Works for me, might not work for some. Is what it is. Alan. So let's see what we're looking at. Hourly, pretty much taking out half the prior hourly bar. Back below our 30 support now, which is interesting. If we hold below it, we can see a broader continuation again. Oil pumping up a bit. Yeah, it's holding above the open. I put in a trade with a 1.5 point stop and target for 3-point move down. Double or nothing, that 250. Double or nothing. You want me to try to make it 5? I would need 250. No, 1 HP. I would have to have a 0.5 stop on 1 MES. Bella, get off fucking desk. It'd have to be a 1.5 stop or a 0.5 stop and a 0.5 target. Unless you're talking NQ. If you think I'm trading anything like that with NQ with that slippage, not a shot. Yikes dump, yeah. Big old rejection. Which, all this does is confirm the thesis of why my stop was where it was. Looks like a pretty damn good stop to me. You guys would probably save it. Brother, if you think I'm trying a 1 NQ entry with what is the current spread? The current spread is like 2 points with the volatility it's getting on the lower time frames. Ain't no way in hell I'm trying to make 250 off of 1 MNQ. Black cat cross, you do not trade that. That black cat crosses me every single day and breaks all of my shit. All of it. Nothing is safe with that cat in the house. Good example. I don't know if you guys can see it. That lamp behind me in the corner, broken because of the cat. Appreciate you being here, CJ. Chat, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, though, because I don't plan on taking another entry here. I want to let the market digest for a little bit, build some structure, see what happens, see if we end up getting a continuation lower, because it looks like we might. Go, dude, the hourly had so much potential to hold, and it just slammed all the way back lower into the close. What up, Tay? Oh, wait a sec. Can you explain slippage? I keep hearing it. It's like when, so let's say I have this stop here. And typically if there's lower volume, there's not going to be an order at every single increment, especially during this time frame. So what can happen is I'll have a stop here. When you get harsh volatility, that's just a limit order. There's a chance that you get filled down around like 31.30. So you're going to lose a little more than you anticipate on it. Or same thing with fills, right? You set a limit order, a market order fill. The market fills you where it can. So you'll get a few points difference between where you exactly wanted to enter or where you entered, especially if you're trading something like New York Open. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I trail stops. Like we talked about, if it breaks here, should go back here. We don't want to be in that. We want to get out here. Not with you. What you mean? Okay, so slippage usually works against you. It can work against or for you. Because there's times where you can get filled, especially on prop firms. They're paper trading. You're not going to get, I don't expect perfect fills every single time on a prop firm. I don't. I know there's going to be slippage no matter what I trade, especially on more volatile assets. And so it can work with you, it can work against you. There's been times, especially if you're trading something like NQ. If volatility is present, let's say you had a trim at 637, there's a chance with a big spike up that you get filled even though we didn't actively hit that. Because that's where some orders get filled really quick and then we spike back lower. It can also fill you slightly below the price if you're trying to long and end up getting somewhat of a continuation, you know? So it can benefit you or it can hurt you. Either way, it's just part of trading. Especially if you get into options, that's where you'll see a lot of slippage. But chat, with that, I think I'm going to go ahead, call it a day, call it a night. Appreciate you guys being here. Basically break even today. Happy with the winner. Happy with the execution on it. Happy with the trail. Could have ran it tighter, but I anticipated it possibly pulling back and I was willing to risk it. Ended up break even after one loser, one winner. I'll take it. On this, did get filled runner or my first trim at 42.75. So about 1.7 R on the trim. I'm okay with it. One back the loser, and then runners obviously got stopped, which is cool. So with that though, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Allen streams 1 a.m. Eastern. Always mention it. Y'all always know. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. You have a good rest of your night.
Lay your worries in the sand. Let the tide take what it can.